Okay, do you want to take a deep breath? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Okay, you're just getting nervous. Okay, now you can relate to what I'm saying. But like real talk, I really have had like a bunch of nervous breakdowns like in the middle of the night. Like, should I really be doing this? Like,
yes.
I know, but like I don't know. I think it's very scary in a way that like I haven't.
Well, I mean, you're putting yourself out there
in a
big way,
huge way. Like, and then I remind myself, like, who's going to see it? Like 5 people? But then that's not true.
I think you'd be amazed. But, like, somebody's having an opinion. They're going to have an opinion.
Right. But it's scary.
I mean, it is. But...
to be, like, kind of judged. You know, I think that's, like, that's the thing, you know?
Well, everybody's going to judge.
Yeah, but it's like...
don't listen to it.
Yes, but that is hard.
I mean, yeah, but...
And it's like...
But it's also, like, I think the... courage to put yourself out there in this way outweighs the judgment or opinion that's going to happen.
I'm trying that.
I mean,
the imposter syndrome is on fucking fire.
I mean, I think that's in any form. It's like I hate even sitting down in my Substack because I'm like, what the
okay,
food am I gonna like?
Okay, well, I'm gonna integrate this into our conversation. Okay,
about, like, or this is really vulnerable, or like.
Okay, we'll pause on that because we'll do the intro because he's gonna edit this out because we were talking about. Okay. Because I kind of like, you know, I'll start and introduce you and then we'll talk about this. Okay. Hi, Sara. Welcome to the Magic Hour. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So excited.
I'm excited to be here. I was wondering, is it going to be this year, next month, next week?
You know, it's a real fly by the seat of my pants as I'm like working through all the people that I've always wanted to like sit down and talk to, you know. You've always been on there. You're, in my opinion, you're an artist advocate. You're very stylish to me. There's a lot about how you like approach style and living that I really appreciate and respect. So, and I think you just always have all these like nuggets of wisdom. And so it was like when I thought about doing this podcast, you were always like front of mind. So I'm happy that you're here.
Oof, that makes me even more nervous. Okay. God.
I know. I try to.
Why aren't you doing this over cocktails or something?
We should have cocktails, right? What would be like your dream cocktail right now? Because it is Sunday at 1. What would you drink right now?
Yeah,
like an Aperol Spritz?
No. Okay. You know, I tried getting into Aperol Spritz, and
You're not an Aperol lady?
It's like I have one, and then I'm sort of like.
Okay. Would you have a martini right now?
Ooh.
A white wine.
To observe the day of the Lord, I'm going to say no to a martini at 1. I probably have like a glass of wine.
Okay. Like a white wine? Rosé?
Like a really good Chardonnay.
Okay. A Chardonnay.
A Chard.
Well,
but only one because nobody likes a Chardonnay.
A sloppy podcast lady ranting about everything.
The wino comes out. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good idea. Like, I mean, I've seen other podcasters.
What would you have? So would you have an Aperol Spritz?
Yeah, I mean, I have to. You know this. I have to be very careful. I get drunk very quick. So very cheap date. It's I don't know that I could do this drinking. I think that for me it's like and I think it's important to like for me to like hold the space, right? Yeah. But I do think for the guest it might be nice to just
maybe you just like have like a sip of bubbly before you come
I like that. Some champ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a little before you get just a little bit to take the edge off. The nerve.
So this is a question I like to ask guests first out the gate question.
Great.
When was a time recently that you experienced magic? So magic for everyone is a little bit different. It could be like synchronicity, something like lined up in a way that you weren't expecting. It could be like a sign, just something magical that's like happened recently.
Gosh. You just go right toward it. I think to pinpoint down to one would almost be like kind of lying to yourself, because if you really keep an eye out, there's so many different signs and moments, and whether you recognize them in the moment is different. Yeah. So to like say that there's kind of one, I just think there's so many different moments of like, and sometimes that's like maybe, I mean, like this week it was kind of a stressful week. I was in a little bit of a rut, and it was like kind of right at the right time. Actually, I know exactly what it is. I was literally in a creative rut, and I was like, how am I going to get myself out of this? And then you texted me, and you're like, okay, we're doing the podcast. So there you go. That was the moment I was like, oh, okay. Like,
okay, so creative ruts, right? That's like an important thing to tease out. So one of the things, so just a little Sarah Jessup backstory. You used to own a boutique called Aquarius. How many years did you have it?
Under the name Aquarius, it was 10 and then I opened the SJ in King William, and that was almost 3.
That's right. So 13 years in the retail space. You also, and so like that's always what I think about is like where your style comes, you know, it's like you've really curated this style for a long time in a more public space. But so now you've transitioned to writing. And you're writing on Substack, which is, I'm a big subscriber. I read it and I give you notes all the time.
Which I appreciate. When there's no feedback, I was like, that's a fail.
Wait, when there's no feedback, there's a fail?
Yeah, because I feel like when you have feedback, it's like then you've got engagement or response. And so when it's quiet, it's like the awkward quiet on a phone call, and you're like, Bueller.
Is anyone here? I have a friend that does that when I talk to her on the phone, and she won't give feedback, and she's like, I'm processing, and I'm like, I can't with this.
I know.
It's too much.
That moment of space is like,
yeah.
But then you respect it if somebody's not giving you honest feedback or like thinking about it.
Okay,
like,
so I'll remember to file away, even if it's I
could get it from my mom all day long, but like, I mean, she created me.
Yeah.
She's obliged to like give me the positive, like it's the best post ever.
How did you decide to start a Substack? So I have been privy to these conversations because we've talked about it, but I know it was like there was a lull between the store closing and you trying to figure out what you wanted to do. Like, how did you decide? Did you go to school for writing? Like, oh, you did?
I did.
Okay. Well.
I did. Yeah. I actually thought, like, I was thinking about this the other day. In the 5th grade, I mean, I was like, I'm going to be an editor. Like, I'm going to go in a magazine. That's exactly what I want to do. I was writing in the 5th grade. I wrote poems. I run a young poetry contest in Texas. Naomi and I put me up for it. Like, yeah, I took a class from her, and I had this one poem about a family member, and she was like, can I submit this to this young poet contest? And I was like, I mean, sure. 12. Like,
yeah.
And I won. Like, I placed.
Wow.
So no, it was always something that I gravitated toward. I went to college. That was my focus, was creative writing. And at Rhodes College in Memphis, you have to pick creative writing or poetry as like your focus under an English major.
Okay.
And I did poetry for a semester, and
yeah, that's a tough sell.
That was tough.
Yeah,
that was tough.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we going to do as a poet? Like,
yeah.
I mean, and it was an interesting group of students between all of us, like some really emotional people.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And so I went back to creative writing. And
and there's a lot more freedom, right? In creative writing, it's like you could take that in many different ways. Yep. Okay, so that makes sense why your writing is so good.
And then like how that came to like opening retail, like.
Yeah, how did we pivot to like.
I thought because I designed jewelry before I opened Aquarius.
Okay.
That was like my little side hustle on my dining room table in my apartment. And I was lucky enough. Yeah.
That's cool.
I was lucky enough. I started doing that in college, just making pieces in my dorm room. And I moved back to San Antonio. I was going to stay just for a year. And I did interior design master's program at St. Mary's University. That was really cool. And then I took up my jewelry again. And then when I was done learning about design, I was like, well, no, I kind of feel like I want to pursue this jewelry business. And luckily for me, I had so many local contacts. So I had stores that were willing to sell it or host a trunk show.
Okay.
So I learned the wholesale.
What kind of jewelry? Was it like beads?
So
silver?
It was a mix of like semi-precious stones with costume jewelry. I actually bought lots of vintage jewelry, and I would break them apart and then I would hinge them back together. And so you had this hodgepodge of like modern statement.
Do you still have any of it?
I don't have any of it because it's like, it's hard. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, oh. But I will say a customer of mine for a long time, I went over and it's like, I don't know, it was just a different time in my life.
But it's also like, I think this is so important because I think creatives
are their own worst critic.
Yes, that, which we'll get to, but also I think it's not a straight shot, right? No. It's like, it's turns, twists, it's moving.
It's not a linear form of living.
It's not. And it takes different shapes. And I think when you look back, you're like, oh my God, this jewelry was hideous. But at the time, it's like, I mean, you have I mean, I think that that's part of the process, right? Okay.
It is.
So we don't have any of the jewelry.
No, I mean, I think I found a piece like maybe a couple years ago when we were moving, and I was just like
in the garbage it goes.
But a customer of mine for a long time, I went and cleaned out her closet, and she was like, how would I wear this? And I was like, well, do you have any pieces of like turquoise or coral jewelry? And she was like, yeah. And she like opened up her drawer and like pulled out all of these statement necklaces. And it's like, I don't know, seeing an ex-boyfriend for the first time after a long time. like stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, oh, you're back. And I was like, where did you get this? She's like, oh, this young girl was having this trunk show at whatever such and such store that was open at the time. And I didn't get to meet her, but I loved her jewelry. And I was like,
did you tell her?
I did.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't like, I was like, oh my God, well,
I'm that.
She's cool. It's me. And while I'm here, let me fix that turquoise bead. It's really making me crazy. Like,
wow, what a full circle moment.
So I guess like to go back to retail, I just saw this niche in the market, which I mean, every small business owner, entrepreneur is going to tell you. And I was 25 when I started thinking about it.
Okay.
I took some business classes at UTSA downtown campus.
Well, that's more than most entrepreneurs, right?
I was lucky enough to be in a relationship with now my husband, who's super business smart and knows numbers. And so
just knows a few things about numbers.
A few tidbits about numbers. And I just was like, I'm going to do this. And I mean, to think about it now, I'm like, how cool, bold, and stupid. But then, and it was right at the recession. It was 2008, 2009.
Cool. Perfect time.
Perfect time. And I got married in 2010, and I opened the store like 6 months later. And I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it until 2 months before opening, and I'd already signed a lease.
And what was the reasoning behind that?
I didn't want people's opinions.
Okay.
Like, I didn't want to have like, what are you thinking? Or what do you, like, what's it going to be? Or you should get this line. Or, oh, I've always wanted to open a store. Let's go in business together. And I wanted, like...
Did you tell your mom?
Yes, she knew.
Okay. And she was supportive?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And she was like, well, I mean, however, like, do you know how you're going to decorate it? Do you know how you're going to do this? Like, I met a really wonderful friend of hers who was in PR at the time, and... So that was a great kind of lunch to have, like, how am I going to pitch this? What's going to be called? What's the tagline? And the whole business. And Nancy was awesome with the opening party as well, and kind of getting those connections.
What was your tagline? Like, what was your original vision for Aquarius?
So Aquarians are kind of the off the beaten path zodiac sign. So
I always think of Aquarius as, like, visionaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like... the aloof, but they tend to be these like scientists, quirky, centric, unique type people. And so back to like trendsetter, like back to like there was a niche in the market. I was like, so I'm going to bring in a lot of lines that have never been in the San Antonio market. So that's going to be that off the beaten path. And then of course everybody was like, well, I mean, Aquarius, like, so it was like, are you an aquarium store? Do you sell fish? And I'm like, yeah, the tanks are in the back.
The turtles.
You get a free goldfish with every purchase of shoes.
That's aquarium.
And I still have people Aquarius. Like the girl that did my logo, we put like the Aquarius wave sign on top. And I mean, I had more people coming in asking me for like koi fish or algae.
Oh,
it's like, came with it. But it was Aquarius, acquire, adorn.
Oh,
like,
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Acquire, adorn.
There was, I guess, the writer part of me was like, acquire, adorn.
I love that.
Like flowed together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you carried clothing, jewelry.
We did clothing, jewelry. I didn't dabble very early with shoes, but that came later. So it was mainly clothing and handbags and accessories.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with your shoes.
Thanks.
I was like, just a moment for the shoes, that it's a square and a circle.
You threw me
Really
off
it.
when you were like, please wear color or something. And I was like, I don't
Right, you do wear a lot of black.
I wear a lot of black.
Yeah.
So,
But
at least I could like woo you with a shoe.
Blew me away with this
There you
shoe.
go.
I love the I love everything about that shoe. It's very Aquarian,
Yeah,
I
it
think.
is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The square and the
Yes.
round like peg. Yeah.
Yes. It's great. What do you think about fashion in San Antonio? This is like such a complex,
loaded question.
Because there is a very interesting, it's, I went to art school.
Yeah,
I lived in New York. It's like fashion and fashion shows for me were always very creative expression, right? And I am definitely an out of the box dresser, right? I put quirky things together, and that to me is what fashion is. And I've noticed a lot in San Antonio that fashion to a lot of people in San Antonio is like fancy or like maybe they think if it's expensive, like that's fashion. Like I've been to a few fashion shows here and I'm like, huh? They put them in like very weird places. They're walking through these. Do you have the same feeling? Okay. And I feel like the fashion is like the creativity is missing. It's like everyone wants to kind of like look the same, or they think that if it's tight and if it's short, it's fashion. Do you feel like that? There's not a lot of risk taking.
I think because, I mean, it's just like such a loaded question.
know.
I'm trying to be so PC about it. Okay.
We don't have to be PC about
well,
it.
okay. So back to you saying that like style is a form of expression. So like when you get yourself dressed, like it is very much an expression of you. Like every time I see you, I'm like, that is Jenny. She owns it. She feels great in it. She's confident in it. And I think people are still, I think sometimes women get maybe intimidated with fashion. It's either like you play it safe or you're like, be bold, be brazen. Here I am, more is more. But they're not comfortable in it. Like a lot of times I've seen women come in and I'm like, you're
awkward
in it. Or like, I mean, because it was just right off the top of my head. It was like when everybody was wearing headbands, the knotted headbands.
What? That like really had a chokehold on women.
I still have like something just died in my soul just thinking about that time.
It wasn't
very flattering on people.
It's like this big,
it's
like
huge. It's like the tennis need to be coming out, or then that's all you can focus on, and it took your whole head, and like,
it also feels very matronly.
It does,
right? Like,
it
and
does.
it's like that's not really what I'm.
No,
as I'm like trying to keep my boobs in my shirt. Obviously matronly is not a way that I dress, but the headband, I really struggle with that in San Antonio. It's like anytime I hear there's like a fashion show, I'm like,
how is this going to be?
Yeah,
because I think we're also trying to make something out of that we're not. I mean, it's, we're not New York that has,
or LA.
Or LA that's
or Dallas.
Naturally ingrained in that. Like, I think San Antonio, in that sense, is still looking at everything else going on.
Right.
To be like, oh, leopard's huge for fall. I mean, if I had a dime for every time I heard that in fashion, and still, I'm like, leopard never left the building.
Leopard is here.
Leopard
it's
is
always
here.
gonna. So
not a trend,
how do you juggle that when you? I mean, I don't want to talk about like your store forever, but how do you juggle that when you're like? How do you meet like client needs, but also trying to bring in like trends? Yeah, that's a tricky.
And I remember an owner of a store that's still open today. It's a long-running store. It's been open for, over 30 years. She told me one time in a trunk show for my jewelry, you need to be buying for your customer. Like that, your customer dictates how you buy and how you style and what your shorts should be. And I remember thinking, like, I totally get that because, I mean, obviously, like, the end of the day, you want the bottom line. You got to pay, got a sale to make.
It's capitalism, yeah.
But I had a really hard time with that because I was like, I can't sell something that I don't love. Like, if you're not passionate about your product, people see it.
Yeah.
And I have a horrible poker face. And so if I don't like something,
You do.
I do.
Your face goes like,
I have the worst facial expressions. Like, we were at dinner the other night and we were at Saluna and I ordered a cheese fuzz and I don't like cheese fuzz. And literally the guy across from me, one of my husband's friends, was like, I can't watch you because every time you take a sip, you're like,
why did you order it?
I was done with iced tea. I was like, I can have one.
Okay.
Before I feel like I've been roofied.
Okay.
But it was so tart. There was something just not worth it.
Okay.
But I just like powered through it. But yeah, the guy was like, I can't watch every time your wife takes a sip. It's like, or like this. I'm like,
so it's like you really have to love what you're selling, but also how do you...
You've got to be able to read the room. I mean, I think it's you reading body language in your line of work and what makes somebody feel comfortable when they're relaxed, when they're, feeling something maybe during steam or extractions. Like, you learn to read women, which is a huge talent in itself, to know how I see what you're wearing.
Yeah.
And this is a shirt that I got in from New Line, whatever. And this is how I think you're going to be able to wear it in a way that's comfortable. And it's going to be totally different than Debbie over there.
Right.
But that's the point of fashion. Like, a button-down shirt that's denim is going to be totally different on you than me or
Debbie
or Walter. Like,
yeah.
But you've got to be able to take fashion and make it your own. And I think that's what sometimes, like, when we talk about like fashion shows in San Antonio or even styling or some of the styling that I see in stores, I'm like, it's a lot. And I think it makes it unapproachable, which is what you don't want. To feel like, oh, I could never wear that. Like,
right.
Well, then why are we in the business? Like, so how let's make this how you should wear it or how you feel.
Did you ever want to pivot to styling, like personal styling? Was that ever like on your radar?
I did it for a few clients.
Okay.
And
is that not your passion?
I don't know. Okay. I go back and forth on it because it's also something that's really personal.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you got to take yourself out of it because it's really about the client and making them feel their best and look the best. And so a lot of times, like, I luckily enough had great customers when I did it that would understand, like, if I'm coming in with, like, let's say a pair of drop crotch pants, because that was kind of a fad for a while. And it is not going to look good on you. I don't even think it looks good on me, but I'm going to wear them and own them. And so it was kind of taking yourself out of it in the sense of, like, look, I mean, I'm wearing what I'm wearing, but, like, I don't know that you're going to be, we're not here to look like each other.
Right.
I'm here to, like, take you, make you better with what's in your closet and maybe push you out of your boundary a little bit. And so.
And give some creative ideas, right? Like some
make your
inspiration.
Like, make you, have you feel empowered to style, to go into your closet and be able to go, okay, so I'm feeling like a classic button down, but then what am I going to do that's going to be different?
Right.
Not your usual uniform.
Right.
So, yeah.
So not styling just really wasn't something you wanted to pivot into. It doesn't feel like it lit you up.
No,
yeah. It's just like, okay.
It didn't.
So you pivot to when you move downtown, you get the SJ, and then it just kind of was like, okay, I'm done. Like, you've scratched the retail itch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to do retail.
At the time, it was I'd been in retail for as long as I had been married.
Yeah.
And
that's a long time.
That's 2 marriages right there. Like,
yeah.
And
a long time.
Both are very hard to turn off and not be engaged in 24/7.
Yeah.
And with the SJ, I loved it because it was a smaller space.
Yeah.
I could really take everything that I learned and was still curious about and really curate it into something that was tighter. And that was coming out of COVID time. So you really had to, like, trim the fat and know what works and what's not going to work. And I got to a point, I mean, I remember it vividly. I was in the pool. It was like in the summer 2022, 23. And my husband had been saying, like, I think you've come to the end of this. I think you're ready for something else, like mentally, emotionally. And I think you want to be challenged, and I don't think that you're
kind of like going through the motions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember our conversations around that time, and it was just like, and also I totally forgot that when I first started to hatch my plan for Magic Manos, that originally we were like spitballing it being in your
my
store, which would have been just so cool. But yeah, I remember around that time, like I could just like feel like you're just like your heart wasn't in it. Yeah.
Like when then people talk about like gut feelings or gut instinct, there's really something to it, because it had been telling me for a while, like, you're done.
Yeah.
Like you did it. It was amazing. You met amazing contacts. Like I worked with Goop for 3 years. Like that was
who is
amazing.
like your eye, like your. I feel like when I think of Sara, I think of Gwyneth, right? Like you love Goop.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I think that the full circle on Gwyneth is very interesting. Like
you love her, you hate her. I mean, she's just a polarizing person.
But I think she's had this arc. Like I think after that trial, people like really got her sense of humor, and like she's kind of funny. I mean,
she's very just from meeting her, she's very sharp.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people don't get that.
Yeah. And she very much watches and pays attention. And I think that's where like the kind of bitchy, snobby, standoffish, but she's just not going to talk. Yeah. And then when she does, it's a very witty, sharp, responsive banter.
Intentional.
Like,
yeah. She's very intentional. I mean, I think Goop is great. Like she's built such a great brand.
To go from like one career to another, I mean, you got to like respect and hats off to that, to be able to like,
and especially someone that really doesn't need to work.
No,
right? Like she just,
and she had to go out and get startup and capital. Like she didn't completely just go, I
want to do this. You know, she like, I mean, I think she gets a bad rap, you know, as I think a lot of women in business, right? It's like they're under a lot more scrutiny than men are, right? Yeah. Speaking of scrutiny, it's like we were talking before we started about imposter syndrome, and creative ruts, and so you
back to the store closing. That was a creative rut for me.
Okay,
like that was. I was like,
you felt a little lost at sea.
I did.
Yeah, I remember these talks we would have, and you were just like, well, what am I going to do? And I'm like, why don't you just enjoy your life?
I know.
Because you have a great life.
Well, and I was so scared of like, what am I going to do next? Because it is like the number one asked question to a woman. Are you married? Do you have kids? Or what do you do?
Yeah.
Or then what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, like, and I was like, well, I'm married. I don't have kids. And it was like,
oh, okay.
So, like, do you work then? And so that was like the store was a lot of my identity.
Right.
So with not having it, I was like, I mean, am I like Susie Homemaker now? Which is amazing.
Yeah.
But
not really. You're like,
not my lane.
You're smart and talented. Yeah. It feels like, not that being a homemaker is a waste, but it's also like, I also feel like that is a creative problem too. It's like, what's the next thing?
Next? And you've got to be able, as a creative, to like produce something.
Right.
And so it was like, well, I mean, will I be fulfilled enough like producing like chicken soup?
A martini?
Yeah. For my husband at night, like being his like caddy for the, like, I mean, like, is that enough? In a lot of ways.
Well, and I think also too, because your husband is so successful in what he does, and he's so driven and he's so good at it, I think that that's hard too, because it's like, I hadn't even planned on talking about this conversation, but I think that I see a client and she could just be married and not worry about anything financially. She's fine, but she's built a really cool business. Yeah. And I think that again, no shade to the women that don't work, but I don't think that you're the woman that's like going to appointments. I think that and that she's the same. And I think that brings something to your marriage that successful men want to have an interesting conversation. Like they don't want to just hear that you got your nails done, right? It's like when I think about you and Jeremy, like I really think about two people that are very compatible and intellectually compatible, right? Like I always think about that you guys probably have very interesting conversations, right? And probably the pressure
Very funny ones too, like
but also like the pressure that you feel to not just be like, well, yeah, I got a facial today and like that's it. I got the car washed, you know? And so I think that is some of that pressure that you
Well, it's challenging. It can be with I was very lucky at the time when I was like in the pool and I just looked at him and I was like, it's time. Like, it's time. And he was like, all right, like, let's get an exit plan. How can we, get ahead of this? Because it was in the middle of the year. So it wasn't like at the end of the year. Luckily, I owned my lease, so I didn't have to have that awkward landlord, like, break up. And, I mean, well, with my husband, but luckily we had another tenant that was really wanting that space.
Yes.
So she's done phenomenal at King William. But he was very much like, thank you for coming to this because I've been seeing it. But like, I know this about you. I can't force you.
Yes.
You have to
come to it on
you
your
have to come
own.
to the surface when you're ready. And the very thing he said, I remember I closed like August 3rd and I still rolled out about 2 months of online sales and cleaned out my inventory. But I remember I sat down for like the first time after that and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to cry. I don't know if I'm going to go to bed for days. Like, I don't know if I'm going to have a martini at 1 p.m. Like, what am I doing? And he was like, do not do anything. Like,
those were my conversations with you. We're just like, here's a novel idea. Why don't you just enjoy your fucking life?
And I was like,
You're like, I can't. I'm like,
why are we doing the next thing? Like, what's next?
But sometimes that incubator period
is beautiful.
Is the most important, right? Yeah. It's like in the 2 years before I started Magic Manos, it was like I had gone through this really shitty breakup and I, was celibate and I was like, and I was just like dreaming about this business. And I think about how pivotal that time was. Mm-hmm. And even with this podcast, like it's kind of mirroring the same thing. Like, I went through this breakup and like I've wanted to do this podcast for about a year. Yep. This has been something I've been talking about. And now it's like, why can't I just like birth something without a breakup? But it's like, but that creates almost like a vacuum space. So it's like, so you had the time to kind of process what you wanted to do next. How did you land on a Substack?
My Substack?
Yeah. And why a Substack? Like, why not a blog or like?
So the interesting thing is I had created a site for a blog.
Okay.
And I felt it was dear amazing Alyssa Howard. Like,
I was gonna.
Thank you for doing that. And then I literally just
Okay.
looked at it every day and didn't do anything with it.
We share a graphic designer and friend.
She's amazing.
She's great.
There was still something really intimidating about that because it was like you own this domain and like produce, bitch.
Yeah.
And content creating is challenging in itself. And I was like,
crickets.
What did I do today? Or Dear Diary. Or, I have a lot of people that want me to talk about retail. And I'm like, well, I got to figure out how to like space that.
Okay.
So I thought that I would start back up with the blog because the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years, a lot driven with COVID, people have wanted to come back to a very intimate space, something that feels very personal, something that feels relatable. And I think people are craving connection again.
Sure.
And so I was like, I can do it from this blog space. And I did produce some content. I never published it because I would get so frustrated with it. The logistics of tech really drive me crazy. I mean, right when I would like perfect the collage, like I deleted it somehow, or the picture lost pixel or what have you. And being a perfectionist that I can be in some spaces, I was like, this is no. And so I kind of stepped away from it for a bit, but I still was like, I hadn't felt a need to write in probably 20 years. Like by the time I graduated from college, I was so burnt out because we had to produce short stories after short stories after short stories. And then you would sit in a group of 12 people and you didn't divulge your name, but you were critiqued. That was the entire part, was to be like hacked alive with red pen. And so by the time I graduated, I was like,
I don't want to write anything ever again.
I don't want to write. I don't know where to put a comma. I'm worthless. Like, I should go back to writing Dr. Seuss, and he was a better writer than I am. Like, so I took that long a break, obviously, and then it wasn't probably in the last year that I felt like, okay, I need to talk. Like, and I think a lot of that was driven by explaining the retail side of it, like, or explaining that retail story, and a lot of my own personal struggles. Like, I kind of felt like I'm ready to come to a place, and Substack was brewing, and I felt like this was a very user-friendly, but also had the platform and the audience and the support to do it.
Okay.
And I liked that it was part of a community. It wasn't just like ksarah.net and like, you know, I'm hoping like to get people, you know, to like it or follow it on its own platform. Substack also gives you like kind of this built-in.
And that people opt into it. It's like they're subscribing. You can see when they open it, like, which is a whole nother wormhole that we can travel down because like, So
whereas like your freestanding website, I mean, you really are the awkward silence in a conversation. Like that's
shouting into the void.
It is a big Bueller right there.
Yeah. Like, hello.
Anybody,
hello?
you know.
Yeah.
You know, cue Simon and Garfunkel, like the sound of silence.
Like, crickets.
Hope somebody comes to it.
Do people respond to your Substack, or am I the only one that like texts you critiques?
You know, actually, I get really great feedback from Bonnie Osterhage, who like hats off because she writes professionally. So when she comes back with something, I'm like, because she does it, you know, she's a professional writer.
Yeah, and she's great at it.
She's great.
Yeah.
So when she's like, the comma worked there, I'm like,
yes.
Or like, it was edited well, or you delivered it like well, like.
Not me. That's like, I need more paragraphs.
And literally this last post, I was like, mother trucker, like, how am I breaking this into a mini paragraph? Which is not.
But you did a really good job. I really appreciated the breakup of the paragraphs. Yeah.
Now I bullet point before.
I love it.
To it. So yeah.
So what does your process look like when you sit down and write? Like, how do you get inspiration?
So like back to that perfectionist, like this last one took me 2.5 hours to make that collage, and it's just 7 images. Like, I mean, Jeremy literally was like 2.5 hours. Like, I mean, the shoe goes here, the quote goes here, and I was like, you don't understand. And a mindset when you're such a visual person. I mean, like, the hair between images is like, that's all you can focus on. And I mean, creativity is like, can be so fulfilling or so self-deprecating.
Right. The imposter syndrome, right?
And then you're putting it out there, and then I'm like, this is what I've come to. Like, but then it's also a form of expression. That collage to me tells a story.
Right.
And so you've got to give yourself some grace and compassion that, like, if you're going to put yourself out there, like, that in itself is amazing.
Why doesn't it feel that way when you are putting yourself out there? Why does it feel not amazing, right? When you're working on it or doing it, or when you're in your head, when you're, I wish that part was less on the negative voices. Like you're saying, like, it's like things that other people aren't noticing. But then I always say, like, the devil's in the details, right? It is, I think, part of like what's made, you know, my skincare experience for people is the details, right? It's like the silly things like the chocolate. Like, it's like, you know, that sets it up. Maybe it's not the chocolate, but
it does help.
It does help, right? But it's those, I always find that it's like, yes, I might be overthinking things.
Right.
But I think that overthinking usually ends up benefiting everyone.
Because it is. It's the devil in the details. Like, it's
Right.
the tiny little things. It's that you are delivering. And whether people pick up on it or they're like, and cool, she gave me like a piece of chocolate at the end.
Right.
Like, but that's all part of the package that you're
Right.
delivering.
Right.
Like, it's the experience, whether that's receiving an incredible experience at Magic Monos, or it's producing written content,
Right.
or talking about your story, or dressing yourself in the morning.
The details.
It's
right?
the details, and it's things that you notice because you created it.
Right.
Like, it's almost like you're harder on your own children than you would be on anybody else's children because you created them.
Right.
And
that's your vision that you're executing,
And
right?
so you want to make sure that like that story is like how you're seeing it. But you got to give yourself grace because not everybody thinks the way that you do or
right.
sees things the way that you do. And so you've got to embrace like that not everybody's going to like subscribe to you, but everybody's going to pay attention.
Right. Which is the scariest part, I think.
It's like being a musician. Not everybody's going to buy your album,
right.
but they'll listen to you.
But they'll listen to you. Do you feel like, so the first time you sit down, you write your Substack and then you just hit send out into the world? Like, were you checking like who opened it, who viewed it? Yeah, like, did you?
We live in a like social media, internet driven world. I like have hats off to people that have like deleted Instagram from their phone. I'm sure it would save me. Like it'd probably spare me an hour or two of therapy a week. But you can't help it. It's human nature. Like you want to see the engagement. You want to have somebody be like, oh, appreciate it. I mean, what annoys me is like, I know why they don't do it, but I want to know like from my Instagram when I put it on my stories, like to link, I'm like, who clicked on it? And Substack won't tell you. Like,
oh, they won't?
No, they'll just tell you like, oh, 30 people from your from Instagram connected and read.
Oh, but then you can't see actually who it is.
Yeah.
It's not like when you send an email
and you can see who it's open or not. Which like Jeremy's like, that's a blessing. It's like Jeremy's like, I don't click on invitations because I don't want people to be like, I know you saw my party invitation.
Wait.
Because he's like, I also know I'm not really great about responding, so I don't want you to like, well, I know you saw
hold me to it.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't open
it. He doesn't open it. He relies on me to tell him. Friday night, 6 p.m.
Lovely.
Or he's like, if they want me there, they'll follow up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's, I think that might be the difference between men and women.
Yes.
Like, women
are like, who, where, why?
Yeah. What are the details? What are we wearing? Yeah. I do wonder a lot if men suffer from the same amount of imposter syndrome that women do. I don't think they give a fuck.
I mean, if you even look at like how men interact with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes wish I had that. Like, women are so kind of like, we kind of tiptoe around each other. We do this dance.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we're courting each other, or like, are you going to be in my tribe? I don't know.
There's a lot more like complex dynamics.
Yes. And men are like, bro, what do you do?
Yeah.
Cool. I know somebody in real estate. Cool. And then like they're instant friends. Or they go to like, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
Sure. Like
they always have sports as like a common denominator, right? Do you play any sports? Are you a golfer?
No.
Okay. Have you ever thought about getting into it?
Yes. I was asked this the other day. I took lessons from my father when I was young. He was starting to get into golf, and he was like, every business deal will happen on a golf course. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a magazine editor. So nobody in that field plays golf.
Yeah. Anna Wintour with golf.
Yeah. Unless Anna Wintour's there, then sure, sign me up. I'll get my hat and Argyle and sweater and be out there. But
I do love golf fashion. And truth be told, I have been thinking about taking golf lessons.
You should. I will caddy for you.
Okay. I was like, do you want to take said lessons with me? Because I think that there's like very attractive men on the golf course.
Oh, totally.
And that's like where a lot of men are. So
that's where they all are. Like, you want to go meet a man, like, there's at least a dozen.
Yeah. I mean, more Couple dozens.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of my very good friends, her parents are huge golfers, and I love that. I love like the later on down the road and we're traveling and life is settled and we have this great like game, you know, to share with each other. Right now, I guess for me, it's like Jeremy golfs a lot. That's his passion. And that's how he also like, you know, de-stresses, lets his hair down. And it's a huge camaraderie thing for him too. And I guess I'm like, okay, you have that. And like, so I kind of, and then I have I don't know, I like this kind of separate hobby interest right now.
Yeah.
Also too, I took a lesson with Jeremy in college. We weren't even dating. And it was awful. He was like yelling at the people in front of us who were playing too slow. The people behind us were pushing us forward. My swing was off. And
well, maybe not golf with Jeremy.
Yeah.
Like, could you have your own golf life
I
separate outside of Jeremy?
But like back to that kind of perfectionism, it's like I naturally be really hard on myself. Do I need to go and have a game where I'm trying to beat myself?
Okay.
Beat my score every time? Like,
so I think for me, like the idea, I'm not a very competitive person.
I'm not either.
Okay. So I think for me, it's like, I don't really give a fuck if I'm great at this.
Exactly.
I just like want to be outside. The outfits are cute, you know, like.
I have friends that literally like that. Like, it's fun. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
the idea of driving the golf cart, you know.
I mean, there's something, maybe like, I don't know.
Do you see golf in our future?
Maybe. I do. I think too with golf, like, God love it. I think I would get like, okay, so like, are there cart girls with like a margarita? Like,
I mean, there
like,
are.
What are we
right?
doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, is it time? How many more? Like,
Sarah loves a cocktail. Have you ever done your Substack just on cocktails?
No, because I feel like I'm just going to track recovering alcoholics or people that are like, somebody needs to take her to AA.
I don't think anyone's thinking that, but I do think you should do a Substack on like cocktails, like for different times of the day,
like Mad Men style, like.
Yes. Speaking of, what was the last meal that you had in San Antonio at a restaurant that was great? Like,
ooh. Last, really, I had, aside from my favorite Mexican food place.
Yes. Which will remain unnamed because I feel like it's like you and everyone else in San Antonio. El Jarro.
Yeah. El Jarro, it's great. It's amazing.
Do you eat there one time a week? Two times a week?
I would like to plead the fifth on that. Okay. It's kind of like a cocktail conversation. It's like, how many cocktails do you have? It's like, how many times do you go to El Jarro?
Okay. So outside of El Jarro.
Outside of El Jarro, I had really great, and I hadn't been there in a while. The tuna toast at Little M's Oyster Bar. I had that last week. I went and met my sister there for lunch. And that's like somewhere that's in my hood. And
it's controversial.
It's a very controversial place.
I was like, I don't know that we're going to touch that subject today.
But politics and controversy aside, the tuna toast was probably the last new thing I've had. Okay. I'm a creature of habit with food.
Have you been to oh man, I'm having a brain fart now. They always serve brunch and now they've started doing dinner off St. Mary's. Oh my gosh, what is the name of
What, Atta Girl?
Yes. Have you been there for dinner yet?
I have not.
We should go.
It's been a long time since I've been to Atta Girl. Like,
love Atta. Those pancakes.
It's like, I'm what? A huge creature of habit. Like, so.
Well, and you guys live in King William. Also, speaking of style, I was like,
Bar Loretta. I was there the other night, and normally I get tater tots and like one other thing, and I ventured out, and they had a special. It was really good. It's like a risotto, some sort of risotto. It's really
their
good.
burger is so great.
So
also, they make a great martini.
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
We've eaten at that bar many times.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good.
What so also you have great sense of personal style, but also you have a really, really, really beautiful house with great art collection. One of my favorite pieces of art is in your living room. Or no, it's in your hallway, the one with the money.
Oh, the man holding hydrangeas with money.
Yes.
That was a French, she's a woman. She's this emerging, I don't even know where she is now. It was years ago. She was a photographer.
Okay.
She was visiting a friend. It was actually at MBS.
Okay.
Josh Levine had a show for her. And I took a random yoga class with a friend there. And I couldn't even like child's pose because I was so fixated on the art. And so I just laid on the mat and I was like, when was this show? Like, how did I miss this? And all of it was sold, lo and behold, to like 2 people I knew. And I even called them and was like, look, I know you have a huge art collection. Could I, but like, if you don't have a place for this, like, could I buy it from you? Like, maybe we could like share custody. Like,
okay. I like that. Yeah. Split it half the year.
Like,
yeah.
No, you have a place for it. Luckily, she was like, no, I have a place for it. It's going in this home, blah, blah, blah. But if push come to shove, I'll call you.
Okay.
She's another fellow art patron. And so I harassed Josh. He kept one piece. And when there's something that I love or want or feel passionate about, like I am a dog with a bone and I figure out how to get it. And I will give that to my mom, who always said, you don't know what you can have in life unless you ask for it. And so I harassed him like a lot.
To get that piece.
And he finally responded. We had just moved into that house in King William and we were having people over and I just was fixated on it. One, because it was photography, which, as we were talking about earlier, was not something that I have gravitated toward. But, and I loved the fact that it was like, I don't know, blooming money. There was something that just sort of
That's how I felt about it. I mean, out of all the art you have in your house, that's the piece that like stood out to me the most.
And it's colors. There's a lot of purples. I'm not a purple person. Anyway, so he relented and was like, fine, you can have it. It's X amount, and I'll deliver it today and install it for you. And I was like, yes, the hunt pays off. So yeah, you don't know what you get in life unless you ask for it. 1,000,000 times over a text.
1,000,000 times over. So you are hugely involved with the arts in San Antonio. Do you think less now than you used to be, or still the same level? So you were on the board at...
I was on the board at formerly known as Blue Star Contemporary Art. Okay. It's now Contemporary at Blue Star.
Okay.
Which
when did we go through a name change?
That was a long conversation that we had been toying with. Like, I joined. Backtrack.
Yeah.
The opening party for Aquarius in October of 2010 was a benefit for Blue Star Contemporary Art Museum, and I got involved with them because my mother was on the board, and that group and that community just felt really, natural for me, and I felt like they would really understand my product, so we did it as a benefit. And I got involved on several committees for about a year after that, and then joined the board. And I was on the board.
What is that? When people hear I'm on the board, how many board members are there?
So at the time that I joined, I mean, there was probably like at least 20 or 25 of us.
Okay. That's a big group. And then what meetings. Does the board actually do?
So you have your board, and then you have kind of what you would be called like as your governing board.
Okay.
And that's your president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, legal kind of deal. I was on the regular, like just the mass board. So, we'd have monthly meetings, quarterly meetings, and you literally are just reviewing, like in any sort of business, your P&Ls, income statements, upcoming exhibits, artist residencies.
So you're just giving your feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the director of the nonprofit is normally what's telling you, like, so we've had great response to this. We have this issue with the building, or we've been asked to do this exhibit, blah, 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 blah. And there's not a whole lot of voting matters. I mean, you're literally just kind of getting a report. And then that's a lot of times an ask. Like, so we have this big event coming up.
Okay.
Please campaign for sponsorships, ticket sales, blah, blah, blah. We have the Christmas party coming up. If you'd like to donate toward, staff gifts, that kind of deal, or want to sponsor an artist in residency, if you want to donate to his exhibit, that kind of.
Do you think that this is like a good thing for entrepreneurs to get involved in, is to be on boards? Like,
I do, because it's amazing networking.
Okay.
It really, and especially with Contemporary at Blue Star, we were living in Alamo Heights at the time, and we had come to a point where we were kind of ready to move.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had such this great community of people that I had met in King William, it really felt like, let's
You already had
go and
neighbors.
explore
Yeah.
life down there. And my husband's business is very much downtown and surrounding areas. So it was really great networking at art, just through art, of people that were like, oh, I own this building, or I have this commercial space that needs to be taken care of. And it really opened a lot of doors for us. So yes, to go back to that question, it's amazing networking. And I think especially if you really want to understand downtown politics or dynamics, that anything revolving a downtown community, like Brackenridge Park Conservancy, or Art Pace, that's just fresh off my mind because they just had their gala. Is also a really great networking, because it's not just art patrons or conservative park enthusiasts or conservationists.
Right.
Like, it's so much more outward reach.
Right.
So I think for networking and meeting people, yes.
I think a lot of people that don't. Maybe,
but I think board work can be really intimidating for people.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I was like, break it down for us. Because I think when you say board, it's like, ooh, so fancy.
I know,
Really
but
not. It's like, it's not.
It can be. I will say there's organizations that literally their board meetings are pretty, zipped up and they're run. And the thing with nonprofit, and I learned this very early on because I'm a yes person. And I think I said yes to absolutely everything. Contemporary Blue Star. Like, if I had an idea, they were like, great. Do it. Let's throw together at this party. And I'm like, okay. I got a gold star this week for attendance and participation. And you can wear yourself out.
People pleasing really probably, is
because nonprofit is time. I mean, you are committing time and money and insight and networking, essentially out of the goodness of your heart and respect for the cause.
Well, and also a conversation that I had last week with Jacelyn, who runs the Empire Majestic Foundation. It's like looking at legacy, right? And when you're on these boards, I think you're looking at like the future and where we're headed and like moving. And again, your Aquarian vision, right? Mm-hmm. It's like bringing that in. And so it's like, that all requires a lot of work.
It does.
To push things forward and create
and
legacy, right?
You've got to really kind of put your neck out there a lot of times. And especially with art, and people either get it or they don't, in my opinion. It was like talking about art being intimidating.
Yes.
You don't really understand at first what you're supporting, other than, it's a contemporary art museum.
What does that even mean?
What does
contemporary even mean to people? And it's like, I have a minor in art history, so I understand that conversation. But I think a lot of people think art is just very like, we don't need it, but like,
it's very specific.
Yes. And that
there's a lot of socioeconomic assumption and stereotyping behind art, sadly.
Right. That like very sadly alienates a lot of people. And like there, which is an interesting conversation that I'm having a lot right now because of this whole, and not that we have to get into the political landscape of it, but this whole vote that's coming up, right? For
Prop A and Prop B.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And, this is something I really believe strongly in, right? Yep. It's like, this is how we're going to move this city forward, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, the rollout of this has been really shitty.
It has.
Like the PR of it. I mean,
and they've even admitted to it.
Yes.
Not Spurs and the whole 10 yards.
Yeah.
But, like Lori Houston just gave an incredible talk this week. And that was really, this has been botched horribly.
Yeah. And that name is stupid.
Oh, it's awful.
It's awful. So
it sounds like a, superhero movie that's coming out.
But the way that this is going to move is very much how I see art. And like I consider myself like very progressive. And I think that this project is very progressive and it's going to move downtown forward. And I remember a conversation that I had with Jeremy, like when they were talking about moving the missions downtown, and like, you know, he explains like how linking that. And I think that people don't understand how important this really is right now. And like, I understand that there feels like there's an element of displacement and that like these big billionaires, but these are things that are going, like when I go down to Hemisphere Park right now, I get so excited because, you know, I've lived in other cities and I've seen, you know, I mean, that is such a beautiful space. You don't have to pay to go down there. No. You can just like pop a picnic. They have so many free events. Last night or Friday night they did a movie at Hemisphere. I just think that for so long downtown has been kind of cliche. The Alamo, the Riverwalk, you know.
It's been boring.
Thank you.
I mean, it's been boring and kind of behind, which is a very much a great charm of San Antonio, that we are behind in a lot of ways, but you can't. You can't progress a city and you can't attract
the kind of
an economy,
investment companies that they're looking at, like, what can their people do on the weekends?
Exactly.
Right? Like go downtown and drink and fall in the river. Like, that's not really a sales pitch. I mean,
like stand up in the river because it's only like 4 feet deep.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, this is going to attract bigger concerts. Like, and it's, you know, I mean, I do feel like they fumbled the bag with that AT&T Center. I mean, I don't know who approved that. I wasn't living here when all of that. Right. But it's like, it's $100 Uber to get out of there at night. And there's nowhere to eat.
There's nowhere to go.
You're like on this weird island and the traffic is terrible. And it's like.
And a lot of city administration that was back in that day have even admitted, like, this has been a response that's been ongoing for 5 years in response to the polling that happened around AT&T Center, which was there's nothing to do around there. So we go and we leave.
Yeah.
And the development and everything just didn't happen
the way
they thought it was going to.
It was short-sighted to think that you were going to be able to develop old warehouse. It's like, you know, it's just, but downtown is already there.
It's already there. And we've had this conversation with Hemisphere back in 67, 68. I mean, we're at another crossroads where do we want to invest in our city?
Yes.
Even if it's a huge private sector that's coming to do it.
Yeah.
Which has been what San Antonio's kind of relied on. Pearl was private sector.
All private. All of his private money. And look at what that has created. I mean, when I think about what that used to look like, and like, you know, that was right around the time I moved back, and like watching that, I mean, the vision is it's incredible.
It's incredible because I remember, like, I think we could go to the museum for the beer, like maybe. I think I did a field trip there in the 4th grade or something like that. But like that was it.
And nobody went downtown, and it was dead. And there were
downtown for Fiesta.
Right.
Which, like, 1 week a year, 10 days can't sustain.
Right. A city. Yeah. And now you look at, like, there were homeless people living in the Pearl Brewery. It was scary. And so I know that there's a big misconception, right? I don't know how we became like the yes conversation, but it's just been heavy on my mind. And I see a lot of clients that own businesses downtown and are just like, this has to pass.
We can't keep being a destination for how much convention traffic that we have when there's nothing appealing about opening anything in downtown because where's the traffic coming from? Right. Because it's so heavily destination, and you've got to create an ecosystem.
Right.
And it's prime. It's already been a spot of ecosystem back in the day with Hemisphere, and
we can bring it back. I mean, it's coming back. It's Hemisphere. They brought in that disco DJ thing. It was bopping all summer. Why they don't do that during the fall, winter
know.
months, I don't know. It's like, why do they want people to sweat out there? But that's a story for another day.
We're giving you something to beat the heat, but really not.
But like, let's do that during these months, right? But that's a story for another day. But it's also just, I think when we talk about art and Blue Star and vision, and it's like, you know, the last thing I'll say about it is like, it's not taxes on residents.
No.
It's coming from the hotel.
So unless you're going and to have a staycation,
then
you're really going to pay attention to that 0.25% increase, like, well,
yes,
okay.
I mean, yeah. So I
do the pros outweigh the cons? Yes. Does the education need to happen? Yes.
Yeah. So this might date this podcast a little bit, but I still think it's an important, especially when you're talking about Blue Star and legacy and all of these things, like, you know, investment in art and like how we get those programs is bigger companies coming in and providing support. I mean, you think about everything Valero does, or, you know, I mean,
Graham Weston, like, is a huge investor in the city.
Huge. And like the art and all of that benefits from that, right?
You've got to have, I mean, with Contemporary at Blue Star, I mean, you're thinking legacy. That started as a grassroots project in that space in the late 80s because there was nowhere to showcase contemporary art, especially local contemporary art. We didn't have the galleries there. And so that started as a complete grassroots, like, schlep, you know, your boots on, and artists were like sweeping the floor, and they put it up, and actually the Holt family were some of early people that volunteered in the early 90s to help a lot of those exhibits. Cool. They strapped on boots and came in and supported, and we've got great pictures of the family, like back in the day at old exhibits and
just helping,
like, openings. And so it's like to think down the road, and now it's almost 40 years. I could be off on that, but I mean, and rebranding it because it was Blue Star Contemporary, which was confusing with the compound. So people would come in thinking like it was the information center for the entire Blue Star complex.
Right. And you're like, no, we are the Contemporary.
Right. Yes.
At Blue Star.
That was like a almost 5 year back project, was to how to rebrand it to take it to another level in our legacy, which would be the next step up as a museum. So we went with Contemporary at Blue Star. But that happened after I rolled off the board. I started the conversation with a group of us in a board meeting. So back to that kind of board.
Do you is there a term limit on boards, or you just decided
everybody's different? So at Blue Star you get 3 3-year terms, so 9 years.
Okay.
I rolled off like a year shy of 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did that right when I was transitioning everything with the store. I was moving it from location to location. And I just had come to a point with so much involvement that I had done that I was like, it's kind of back to the business of Aquarius. Like, I just personally came to a point where I was like, I think I've given. Yeah. I've given. And I love this. And I'm still as involved as I can be on an advisory council capacity. And I'm at as many events as I can be and sponsor as much as I can.
Yeah. Is there a board that you would like to be at?
I don't know, because
like
I'm
a dream board.
A dream board. That's like a perfect conversation for Substack.
Okay.
There you go.
So there's some more info. Okay, you've got your cocktail Substack, and you're welcome for all the ideas. I think your dream board. Yeah, like what's your next board? I think you should talk about that, because I think that's I mean, I want you on all the boards. I think you are such a visionary, and I think, you know, you've always been such a huge supporter of like all the stuff I've, you know, been like,
because I love and adore you.
I was like, I have this crazy idea. I want to open a business. And, you know, you were just like, you should do it. And it, you know
what? If you half the battle in anything is yourself, it's your ego. You
I think it's all of yourself. Yeah.
And it's hard to do that because we're our own worst enemies. Like the voice in our head is louder than anything else. And I remember, like, there's this incredible quote I read years ago that was like, the negative is always going to be louder than the positive.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
wish
so
that was fucked up. Like, what the fuck?
Like, why can't we pay compliments or praise and lift anybody
Yes.
up anymore?
Why
Like,
can't, when I think about like starting a new thing, that it's just going to be great and it's a success? And like,
you always want to look at like,
I'm always like, "Ooh, this one person isn't going to like it. They're going to talk about me." It's like, who cares?
who cares? And it's hard. It's hard as a person to do it too. Like, I have to catch myself a lot when I'm being asked something like a retail consulting question, or like, how would you do this? Because sometimes I naturally want to jump to like, oh God, like,
Don't do that.
like,
Well,
abort. And then I have to go, well, no, I mean, that's just my own personal like experience with that. So would I jump off that diving board again? No, but like, can I help you
do it?
not cannonball without having PTSD like reaction from like my own drop or something.
Right.
Like, but it's just, I don't know. I hate saying it's like human nature. It's human nature to go to the dark.
Well, I think for women.
Yes. Well, it's back to the bro talk.
Yeah. Because men, I'm not hearing these same conversations.
Like,
men.
Oh, you shot 150 on the course.
Better
awesome.
luck next time. Yeah. Good luck trying that next. Yeah.
And women are like,
yeah. It lives rent free. Like the one weird thing I said in one conversation, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started on, I can hash conversations in my head for days. And half the time, it's really not that bad.
It's really not.
But
well, I love and adore you.
I'm like so excited that you've done this.
I know.
You just need just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
I mean, I'm ripping it.
Like,
here we
put
are.
the microphone on and like
check. Yeah.
It's like straight talk with Dolly Parton. Like, just freaking do it.
Well, I'm excited to read your Substack on what and tell everybody, what is your Substack called so they can.
Okay.
And what do they follow you? What's your Instagram handle? Like Plug City.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And my social security number.
Yeah.
And
Plug
my
City.
shoe size.
Yeah.
Okay. So my Instagram handle is at Sara A. Jessup. No H.
And how do you spell Jessup? I mean, I'll link it in the podcast.
I know.
Notes. It's fine.
Okay. It's like the one con about getting married to a man is you have to spell his name every time because it's hard to. Anyway, it's Jessop instead of IE, like Jesse. It's Jessup. And then Substacks is obviously you can go twofold. So you can find me under Sara Jessup.
Okay.
But then the Substack itself, content-wise, is called Sara, like instead of like, which Alyssa Howard came up with. So I have to like completely
Plug City. Yeah. She was my very first podcast interview. It was
perfect.
Alyssa Howard. Yeah. So we love her. But yeah, so subscribe to Sara's Substack.
Thank you.
So good. I love it. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. See, it's fun, right?
It was fun. Thanks, Walter.